the EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.
It's the EP Podcast. My name is Chris, and let me tell you something. First off, you hear that ad at the beginning of the show, Porter Cullen's. When I started this podcast 6 years ago, when you think about places you want to partner up with, places like Porter Cullen's, I mean, that's an institution here in Evergreen Park. High-end places like Spoke and Vine. If you haven't been in there, you're missing something. The First National Bank of Evergreen Park. I am flattered by who wants to be a part of the EP Podcast, and we're going to be doing some live shows at Porter Cullen's over the summer. I cannot wait. New in the fold here at the EP Podcast. On this episode, we're going to check in with our friends at OSF Little Company of Mary. I have a cardiologist in here, and we're going to talk about something that I discovered with my own heart a year ago. The changes that I made, how scary it was, and now I think everybody needs to look into this. I don't care how young you are. I don't care how healthy you feel. The second half of this show is a must listen for everybody out there. And Pyeisha Allen from the Youth Department, who I love having down here, is on this program as well. It's all brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. A community bank right there on the corner at 95th and Pulaski in that iconic building. I'm sitting down, I'm waiting for my daughter to head off to college, and we're talking about how we're going to get money down to her. And I told her, make sure you have a First National Bank of Evergreen Park checking account. Why? There are no transaction fees no matter what ATM you use. I can link her up with my own account. I can transfer money over instantaneously to her. And then wherever she pulls it out, I don't care where the fee is, they're going to put the money back in because there's no transaction fees. There's no overdraft fees as well. She's under enough stress. There are so many products. They have products for students, products for adults. Head on over, say hi, 95th and Pulaski, the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, member FDIC. Sitting down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar. She has been here so many times before, and it's always a pleasure to have Pyeisha Allen, who is in charge of all of your children. She is the head of the youth department. When you dump them on the village, she is there for you. No, I kid, Pyeisha, but you love having all the kids over at the community center. I know that you have that incredible game room. There's more video games over there, more things for them to do, more activities for them to do each and every year. And how are you?
I'm good, Chris. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So you have big plans for the summer, one of which I am participating in. All right. I'm going to kind of tease that. And it's a very, very cool thing. We won't kick that off, though. Let's start with a softball one because I know you get nervous on this show. Basketball. Okay. So I know that we have Coach Sexton in every once in a while from the high school, and he talks about his camps. Youth department's doing camps. What do you got going on this summer?
So this summer, we are rolling out summer open gym basketball sessions. So it's just a non-instructional free play for grades 5th through 8th. It'll be Tuesday starting June 18th at the Maple Well Center, 1:30 to 3. And for our high school students, it's at the same location, same time, Thursday starting June 20th.
Does it get competitive out there? Do you watch these games? I know they're open, but I know kids. And I was terrible at basketball, so I know when it gets competitive, man, it gets, I'm just trying to hang on for dear life. Even now as an adult, does it get competitive out there?
Sometimes it gets pretty competitive, but they learn from each other. And the most important part, they have so much fun during open gym.
I saw you back in the fall during that art and garden walk. That was not something that the youth department was doing, but I know the youth department has a garden, and I got to see it during that walk. How is that coming? I would imagine now is the time of year. You're not harvesting yet, but you planted by now, right?
We did plant. Our beautiful youth garden is up and running, welcoming community visitors. Some popular programs to look forward to are the tie-dye party, adopt a plant, paint and snack, learn to make fresh salsa, and so much more, Chris.
Wait, you're making salsa?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Using produce from our youth garden.
Can I get some salsa?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm taking the opportunity while you're sitting here, and I figure you'll just say yes if I ask. So I'm gonna shoot it out there. Salsa. Do I get chips?
You do. You can find our garden calendar on the village website, or you can pop into the youth center to grab a physical copy.
Awesome. All right, let's get to the big thing, because this is really cool. I want to say for the last couple of years, you've done a bike tour, and I see it getting bigger every year. And I kind of know this plan, and it's funny because you brought it up to me a few months ago, and then I got busy and I completely forgot about it. And then you have this thing kind of mapped out. This sounds cool because it's not just a bike ride. It's not just a historical tour. It's something for everyone, and it's almost like a contest because it's a scavenger hunt. Tell me about this.
Our Hidden Gems Adventure of Evergreen Park cycling tour is right around the corner, guys. Saturday, July 20th, you can enjoy a beautiful Saturday morning, riding your own bikes with helmets, participating in a 90-minute group scavenger hunt around Evergreen Park. Collect hidden gems and golden beads for a chance to win a prize. You'll finish the scavenger hunt or the cycling experience back at the Youth Center for prizes, games, and refreshments. Registration is required at the Youth Center by July 12th. It's $15 recommended per family by donation. And then we do have a rain date of August 3rd.
So we're going to have a tent. There's going to be different locations. I'm not going to give away where they're at because it's part of the scavenger thing. But we're going to be at one of the locations and then being able to help people, give out the clue, listen to what's going on, maybe have kind of something fun for everybody there when they're there. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. And part of me wants, this is what I'm going to wrestle with on this bike trip. I'm going to wrestle with, do I want my children with me on location or do I want them on the trip? Because I think they would enjoy the trip. I have the littlest guy. You remember Nick. Mm-hmm. Nick's a talkative kid, right? Mm-hmm. You see Nick never stops talking. Nick is still, because he's a stubborn little thing, trying to figure out how to ride his bike without training wheels.
Aww.
And it's frustrating to me because he is of a generation, and I think because he is the youngest and the other two are older, he just thinks somebody else is going to do it for him. So I took him out maybe a couple of weeks ago, and the entire thing that was driving me nuts is I go pedal, and he just sits there and lets me push him, and he's driving me nuts. So if he's not ready yet, can a kid that little do this tour, even if he's got the training wheels?
Absolutely, Chris. That's a great question. This cycling experience is open. If you have a student in the grades of 5th through 12th, the whole family is welcome to ride. So in previous years, we've had students with training wheels. We've had students on the back of the parents' bikes. It's a super fun experience. It's open to the whole family, Chris.
All right. And if I got one kid that just won't ride a bike, I make him run alongside, right? Something like that? No?
Your choice.
Okay. All right. That's how we punish them in the Lanuti house. You don't get a bike for the bike tour. You run alongside.
Okay. On June 15th, we will be hosting the American Academy of Pediatrics babysitting class.
I love this class. This is one of my favorite things that you guys do. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I've had two kids that have had to learn how to handle big situations. Dominic, who you know, who did the chores thing with you, because I know you have that program over there. Dominic has popped a piece of a hot dog out of his little brother's throat twice because he learned how to do it. This is a very valuable class. Pay attention, everyone. What do you got?
Guys, we still have spaces available. And residents, do you need a babysitter? We have certified babysitters available for the summer.
So once they do the class, then they're available for people to call you up and schedule a babysitter?
Absolutely. Once you take the class, you will receive a registration card where you can get in our babysitting program, where if a resident calls and is in need of a babysitter, all of our certified babysitters are available. We can connect you to the best fit so you can have a babysitter.
You know what I love about what's happened so far in this interview is that I have portrayed my youngest kid as too lazy to pedal and too lazy to chew a hot dog. So we'll see where else the thing goes. Thank God he doesn't listen to the show. All right, the community chores thing. I just brought that up. Are you still doing that?
Who says that students don't want to work, Chris? Our community chores program is open. We have a surplus of youths that are available to mow lawns, rake leaves, complete basic house chores, and do odd jobs for EP residents.
All right. I like this one. Dominic, I'll bring him up now. He's 16, but I like this one because at first he was looking for his first job. He decided he was going to mow lawns. You got him clients. And what I thought was really interesting was he kept some of them when he started his own lawn mowing business a few summers ago. And then that eventually led him into when he got like a job at flipping burgers over at Culver's. But his first job that he ever had was mowing lawns, and Pyeisha was calling him up on the phone going, you sign up for the chores thing, we got somebody who needs to mow the lawn. And what I find most interesting about it is it's great for kids because they have to learn how to talk with people and how to interact with adults, especially as they get older. And I know that you negotiate the price right away. Like you talk to somebody, but then, you know, he would get there and somebody would be like, oh, can you do a little bit extra here? Or they wanted to give him a tip. And it's a good way for him to kind of get used to interacting with the public. It really is great. Do you have a lot of kids that like start off in that and then you see them kind of split off and start doing a little bit more and kind of building something with it?
Absolutely, Chris. We see a lot of growth and we promote growth through this program.
Then the problem was I had to yell at them to do chores around here because they were so busy helping the community. And then I'd be like, do I have to go sign up for the chores program? So, I mean, like it's a double-edged sword, but I was really happy with that program. People should check that out. Anything else? I feel like you've given me so much.
So this summer, you guys can also expect a little disc golf, pickleball, bingo in the youth center, and probably a field trip or two, Chris.
Do you play pickleball?
I need to learn how to play pickleball.
Did you know that John Dwyer teaches pickleball? He was on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Of course.
You get that on demand anywhere podcasts can be found and always at the eppodcast.com. You can hear all about it, and then he teaches pickleball.
And he's actually teaching pickleball to our youth June 1st at Duffy Park.
Ooh, okay. I love it. You've got a lot going on.
Donuts and pickleball with John.
Donuts and pickleball. If that doesn't get the kids out there, I don't know what does. Donuts and pickleball. Pyeisha does such great work over at the youth center. I know that there are people who have listened to all these different programs, may be excited about it. If they want to contact you, number and email, what do you want people to use?
I would say please like our Facebook page, Evergreen Park Youth Department. Follow us on Instagram, EP Youth DEPT. We are always looking forward to hearing from you. For more info, give us a call at 708-229-3377.
Pyeisha Allen from the Youth Department, thank you so much for stopping by. It's always good to see you.
Of course, Chris, it's my pleasure and good to see you as well.
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. It's now time for EP Podcast Word on the Street, brought to you by Spoken Vine, Wine Bar and Bottle Shop, 95th and Kedzie, right there on the corner, northeast corner, one of the hottest spots in Evergreen Park. Last week, I popped in on a Wednesday night. I met a man who owns a vineyard in Lucca, Italia. He and his son were sampling wines directly from their vineyard, right here in Evergreen Park. I walk in, I try great food, I try great wine, and I meet great people. See more at SpokenVineWines.com. The Evergreen Park Public Library kicks off their Stories in the Park. It's happening all summer long. This Saturday, the first date on June the 8th at Duffy Park, 92nd and Millard at 10 a.m. An outdoor story. This is always a lot of fun for the kids. I got a buddy of mine drives in 2 suburbs away every time they do this. It's awesome. Meanwhile, the Village of Evergreen Park has released their 2024 summer concert schedule. This is an all-star schedule looking back over the last couple of years. The Stingrays, who have been on this show, this Sunday, June 9th, Klein Park, 6 p.m. Then June 23rd at Klein Park at 6 p.m., Cokes and Folks. The Neverly Brothers coming in on July the 14th at Klein at 6 p.m. And then summer concerts in the park move over to Sexton Park, August 2nd, Smiley Tillman Band. Rick Lindy and the Wild Ones are back on August 11th at 6 p.m. at Klein Park. And then September the 2nd, Sexton Park, 5 p.m., the City Lights Orchestra. That is a lineup. And again, this Sunday, June 9th, the Stingrays at Klein Park. Get over there. The 11th Annual Senior Health Fair is going to be held on Wednesday, June 12th, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the EP Fire Department. We just had an interview a couple weeks ago about this. Get all the details there. But attendees can get free health screenings, an opportunity to meet with OSF Little Company of Mary Medical Center doctors and nurses. Light refreshments will be provided. Check that out on June the 12th. Joining me on the phone line right now from OSF Little Company of Mary. I love when they check in. I have wanted for a while to talk to somebody who is an expert when it comes to the heart. Dr. Nouneh is a cardiologist over there. How are you, Doc?
Doing great. Good morning. How are you, Chris?
I'm great. Thank you for joining me. So I want to give you just a little bit of background on me. I went to a doctor, I want to say, a little over a year ago, and he suggested a thing where it was almost like it was going to take like a internal x-ray of my heart, my valves, things like that, just to see how everything was working. And what they discovered was a small amount of plaque in one of my arteries. And the next year has been so interesting because the doctor told me you need to lose weight. We need to get your blood pressure down. We need to get your cholesterol down, and you need to get rid of ultra-processed foods. And over the last year, I've lost 40 pounds. My blood pressure has gone from the hypertension level to 118 over 60. I'm sorry, 70 last time that I walked in there. I have my cholesterol down to 142, and I have completely avoided, with the exception of every once in a while, like at a restaurant, I'm sure, ultra-processed foods. And I just had my checkup this week, and he was like, some of that's the medication, a lot of that is you losing weight and cutting out the ultra-processed foods. He's a general practitioner. You're a cardiologist. What do you think when you hear that story over the last year?
It's a fascinating story, and I am an interventional cardiologist. I've been practicing for the last 15 to 20 years. I see it every day. Heart disease is still the number one cause of death and hospitalization in the United States and over the world. Unfortunately, most of the heart attack patients, they never make it to the hospital. They die at home or outside. And I tell my patient, it's a ticking bomb. What test you did, we call it coronary calcium score. It's my favorite test to do, and it's the best test we can do to predict the future of event, including heart attack, stroke, death, for a person who looks beautiful from outside and everything is normal. And this is what I tell my patient. I tell my patient, when you go to see me or you come to see your doctor, I want you to feel in your best, because that's where we can prevent future problems. Patients say, like, I feel great, doctor. Why I am here in the office? They're like, I want you to feel great. If you tell me I have chest pain or I have a problem, it's a little bit too late. So when we talked about coronary calcium score, it's a simple CAT scan without a contrast, without even an intravenous line. It takes 3 minutes to do. So we look for calcified plaque. Plaque, it's cholesterol buildup in the artery of the heart. With time, calcium sits on it. And the beauty of the calcium, we can see it on a simple X-ray. The normal is usually 0. We don't need to see any calcium on top of the artery of the heart. The higher the number, the more the plaque. The more the plaque, the higher the risk. And that's where we tell people how this plaque happens. We see it as plaques start building in the artery of the heart as young as few months old. This is, and it continues to grow, depend on our lifestyle, depend on our genetic, cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, smoking, environment, lack of exercise, bad diet, overweight. So all those I mentioned, it will help the plaque to get built. And plaque what cause heart attack, plaque what cause stroke, plaque what cause death. So talking about about food and ultra-processed food. So when we talk about anything to prevent future event, your example, Chris, is the best example of a patient who make a switch and decide to live a healthy life to prevent future event.
The interesting thing, Doc, was that my doctor told me, like, your heart at 47 right now is probably got the same amount of plaque as the average person has in their early 60s. If you make this switch, by the time you're 65 years old, you'll actually be ahead of most people because most people don't check for this. Just getting rid of those ultra-processed foods and staying and living a little bit healthier of a lifestyle, instantly you'll go from somebody who I'm a little concerned about to somebody I won't be worried about 15 years down the road.
You're absolutely right. And this is where we can make a difference. Unfortunately, the difference we make, you don't feel it. I tell people, like, you're doing great, but like lowering your cholesterol is not going to make you any different because you don't have any problem, but it will prevent heart attack. It's easy when some patient come to me with a heart attack with chest pain, I open the artery and the pain is gone. So it's like instant result and patient feel great. For a patient who has no problem, but he has a plaque in their heart, it's a ticking bomb. I told him, like, whatever we need to decrease that. And we look at from cholesterol, from weight, from exercise, from diet. Everything we do is to decrease this plaque burden and decrease the cholesterol buildup in the artery. If your cholesterol is 500, you may feel great until heart attack hit. If your blood pressure 200, you may feel great until stroke hit you. If the calcium score is 1,000, you may feel great until heart attack happens. So people, when they know their calcium score, they're willing to quit smoking, they're willing to exercise, they're willing to eat healthy. And that's where ultra-processed food play a big role.
And those are foods that have a ton of ingredients. That's, I guess, the way that I have best tried to understand it. If I buy something that's simple, it's got 3 or 4 ingredients and all of them look like something I know what it is. Like it's tomato, it's olive oil. Okay, fine. That is not ultra processed. When I start seeing really long names of things that I have no idea what that is in the food ingredients, now all of a sudden I've found an ultra processed food, correct?
Exactly. And this is what I tell my patients. So like, I always tell them like my simple diet. Say like, what's diet good? So like, the best diet you have is the diet. If you like it, don't eat it. It's not good for you. And everyone starts laughing. So like, this is true. Like, we love salty food. We love packaged food. We love sweet. We love cake. We love bagel. We love donuts. We love everything come in a package. And this is the worst food we can eat. So I turn it to a simple ingredient. I tell people, eat whole food. So like, what do you mean? So like, okay, you go, you buy apple juice. It's horrible for you, but a full apple is very good for you. You buy an orange juice, it's not good for you, but like a full orange, you eat the fiber, you eat the vitamins, you eat the orange. There is no ultra-processed food. There is no extra chemical ingredient added to any juice or any package. The same thing with anything, it come in a wrap. Same thing with any simple canned soup or canned vegetable. I tell them, like, if you can avoid anything in a can or in a bag or in a sealed, will be great for you.
And the other thing is that I've noticed that, like, I have an apple juice, for instance, that I found where the ingredient is, it just says pressed apples. Like, that's it. Like, you can find sometimes something in the store that doesn't have all the additives where you see like 2 ingredients or 1 ingredient on the packaged item. So it's not hard. It's just that thing is sitting right next to the brand that you've probably been buying for the last 10 years.
Unfortunately, good food are becoming a little bit more expensive and their shelf life is a little bit shorter. So, and this is where ultra-processed food is a little bit cheaper because it can last a longer shelf life. But this is the ultra-processed food has a lot of chemical which can cause inflammation, and inflammation will cause plaque, and inflammation will increase the risk of heart attack. And this one I tell my patients, like, Inflammation is the most, whatever we do, even the cholesterol medication we use, the statin, to decrease the cholesterol number and to decrease the plaque, has a beautiful power against inflammation. So for people with normal cholesterol, where we use this medication, it does prevent future heart attack and stroke. And we never understood it before because it's beyond lowering the cholesterol. It's anti-inflammatory medication. And we know any inflammation in the artery of the heart or in the body, it will create a cycle of increasing plaque and what we call it rupture plaque. Rupture plaque is the holy grail of heart attack, where a simple cholesterol plaque in the artery break loose because it's a soft plaque, and all those junky material come in the artery in contact with the blood and cause heart attack. And this is where heart attack, it happened in a second. And people can drop dead right away. So this is one of the things ultra-processed food can cause, is inflammation.
It's all over in our culture, these ultra-processed foods, but you can really cut them back and it makes a massive impact. Now, I know that the addition to these prepackaged foods is one of the reasons why, as you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, that we're seeing more and more heart attacks. And you mentioned a lot of people never make it to you. My grandfather was one of the first quadruple bypasses in the state of Illinois. And he told the story, because he survived, that in the recovery room there were 8 guys and 6 of them didn't make it through the first week. And because it was such a rare thing. And then later on it became, you talk to somebody who's like, oh yeah, I had a heart attack and they brought me in, they put a stent in my heart, I'm back to normal. Like people like started to normalize, well, they have all this modern medicine, they'll just fix me when I have the heart attack. And I think that some people then start to become lax. They're like, well, medicine will take care of me. But what you're saying is you're seeing an increase in it, actually. You're actually seeing that people need to pay more attention before they get to that point, correct?
100%. And I tell people every day, with all the advance we have in the current day, heart attack presenter, most of them, they have not seen a doctor. You're always feeling great until the first heart attack happened. And your first time to the hospital is with your heart attack. The first time seeing a doctor is your heart attack. The first time getting treated is your heart attack. And this is where we flip the switch and tell, like, we need to do more screening. We need to do and start younger and early. So it takes an active, it's not a passive thing. It takes an active effort from every single person of us to do that. And it's keep working, but we keep pushing and we keep doing and we keep trying to do the best to prevent. Prevention is my key point. When heart attack happens, it's always too late. When stroke happens, it's always too late. So we try to I can try to foresee the future and tell patients, like, I can see your risk of having an event is like 10 to 15%. You need to do something different. And this is high.
Dr. Nouneh, we've been talking to him here for the last 15 minutes or so, is a cardiologist. He's got some really good advice. And trust me, I thought when I was told, do those things he just mentioned, and that it was going to be really difficult for me to do. It really was not. And it's nice when I got a year into it to hear all my scores and be like, it actually paid off. And it gives me a lot more confidence in where I'm at health-wise. And I used to be one of those people that hated going to doctors. And I want to say it was about a year or so ago, I sat there and said, it's time for me to start taking care of me a little bit. And the first thing I did is I walked in, sat down with the doctor and said, if you were me, what would you do? And that test that you described, that calcium test, was the first thing that was told to me. It cost me $50 to go get the thing. And if I'm going to spend as much money as I spend on my car every year getting oil changes, I might as well do this for my body. Excellent advice, Doc. I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us. Once again, you're over at OSF Little Company of Mary Hospital right here in Evergreen Park. And, I would love to meet you in person, but not because I'm having a heart attack. We'll say it that way.
Same here. And this is what I tell my patient. We do social visit, we talk, we have fun, we chat. And what you say, it changed your life. This is the true statement. And this is what we try to do. We need a healthy, happy individual, which it will help our society and help everyone, and especially for a younger person. And I tell patients, like, you're 30 years old, you still have average life expectancy, 80, you still have 50 years. This is the person I want to invest in it. This is the patient I want to help, because we're looking for a long, healthy life, hopefully.
Thanks so much, Doc.
Thank you, Chris. Nice talking to you. Have a great day.
It's the EP Podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.